Hey folks, it's Fritgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. I am just going to finish loading up this trailer right here. So to start with, we're going to need to switch the loading side, like that, and then we want to start loading like that. And yeah, you can't see anything happening because it's on a dolly on a tractor. But it does work. It does work. It did work. Did and does all together. Yeah, that's kind of what I was aiming for right there. You get the idea. So our grass hasn't really grown by very much. Wow. Okay, we've got a substantial load here. I'm wondering if we're going to make it. But yeah, I've gone and highlighted grass right there, so we've got everything, and it's still growing. It's going to be... We won't be doing any mowing today. This is definitely not ready for mowing today. So it might be ready for mowing tomorrow, after we've had another good sleep. So we may get some then. We might, if we do well enough with our cutting of trees, we might actually get the tree harvester bought and paid for before our next silage crop. Although there's no guarantee of that. Right, I'm going to stop there a minute. I'm going to press O to change loading sides again, and I'm going to put those back up on there like that, and then stop loading, strap the whole lot down. See, it's so well that the straps don't even reach all the top logs up there. I don't think I'm going to get this load. This is probably our biggest load yet. Looking at that, I would say that that is our biggest load yet. I don't think we have done anything that substantially sized before. I'm wondering if we're even gonna... It's that big. I do wonder if we're actually gonna cope with this. I think that this is gonna be too much for us to handle, I think. We'll find when we get there. But I honestly think this is gonna be a little bit too big for us. I don't think we're gonna be able to cope with it. So we want to... I've also got to be very careful that I don't go around any corners too fast, because it will just flop over onto its side. Give itself a little nap. We don't really want that to be happening. Especially up around here. If you see right there, it sort of just leans ever so slightly to the left. Like the slope. It's only marginal, but there is a slight leaning to the left on the slope as you go in. And that's more than enough to sort of tip the scales, I think. Right, and it's this bit up here. We want to try and get around here so that we can get the thing straight and get as much of a run-up as possible. I still don't think we're going to do it, though. I had a little bit of a run-up there. I don't think he's going to... Look how much he's slowing down. I do believe, however, if we were to change this over again and get that front weight back, we would do a little bit better at going up the hill. So I think we might do that. We've actually done it. I'm genuinely surprised. I didn't think we'd be able to get up that hill. I am wondering about going back and getting the front weight on again. But considering how relatively easily we managed to haul up that hill, I'm thinking maybe we don't need to. Thinking we're probably alright as we are. Right. Let's see. How much are we going to get? $20,000 from that bit, and then do those two, and there's another 1,000, so that's 21, nearly $22,000. So we're on 319,000 at the moment, and counting. What was, I didn't actually, it really bugs me having all of that bright on there. Let's get rid of the, there we go. That's much better. I can't remember what the wool was. The wool is 835. Yeah, we probably won't be selling wool today. I remember now from yesterday's episode. We probably won't be selling wool today. And we've got nothing else really that we can sell. There's... Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's just go a little bit easy down through there. We don't really have anything that we can sell other than continuing to go on with the timber. So it looks like we've got a bit of a long, slow slug here at it, really. We've got two choices. We can either just keep going with the trees like we are right now, or I can do a few loads, fast forward time so that we get the grass ready again, and start doing a bit of mowing. Honestly, we've done a lot of mowing lately. We've done a lot of bales. I don't really think we need to go rushing forward to go back into doing yet more mowing again. Quite frankly, I'm going to get fed up with doing mowing. And yes, I don't regret picking the mowing over the arable to start off with, because we do get a decent bit of money out of it. But it'd be nice to have a little bit of a break from mowing. So we'll go over this way, and we'll keep doing our work with... Let's go up this side a bit. We'll keep doing our work with the trees. This is what we're going to do next. We're going to keep working with the trees. So I'll take this one down. And what I'm going to do on this hill is, once we've cut all of the trees for this new section, I'm then going to go through the stump grinder, and we're going to remove all of the stumps so that they're all out of the way. And once I've done that, I'm then going to take the landscaping tool, and we're going to go over it, and we're going to mark everywhere that there is a stump under the ground. And there is an easy way to do that. You can use the landscaping tool to actually find where the stumps are under the ground without having to go along and dig them all out first. I'll just very, very quickly show you, because I should have the Place Anywhere mod now disabled. And look. Right there. A mouse... Wait, what? Terrain cannot be modified. Why is it allowed to be modified around those... Okay, I don't understand why it can be modified around those trees. But, look, there's tree stumps there. It cannot be modified. And this is the key to it. Is that the terrain shouldn't be able to be modified in some places along here, because there's tree stumps under the ground, right? We got tree stumps under here. And, yeah, you've got to go along fairly slowly to do it. There was another bit here. I think you've actually... Oh, no. Even while I'm moving it around, it's still telling me that I can't modify it. Up through there. So all I got to do is I've just got to make a marker on the ground where it's going red. See, there it's not letting me, but up around those trees there, it's letting me modify the terrain, which is very weird. And I'm wondering if that's one of the reasons that I'm getting a lot of strange lag coming up. Right, there's a tree stump there. I can see it in the bush. But you get the idea. There, right there. There's a tree stump underneath there. So, yeah, that's how we will do it. That's how we will find out where the things are in the ground. But, no, it looks like these trees here, it was actually going to allow me to modify the terrain around these trees. And I don't really know why. So we'll chop these down. And maybe there's something about these trees which has been causing us issues, and that might be to do with the lag spikes that we've been getting here. Chopping these down and moving them out the way, this may be the solution to some of our problems. Because I have noticed before that some of the trees, once they cut down, the lag disappears. So some of the trees don't seem to be behaving quite as they should. And that is kind of understandable. There are a lot of trees on this map. So it does kind of make sense that there would be one or two that would cause issues for us. Wow, this is actually a really, really big tree. All the way up through there like that. And... Right. I'll take you out. Now, am I going to do that into... I don't know whether to do that into 3. I'm going to do that into 2 bits. I'll just chop that one into 2, like that. Right. Now I'm looking around. So I'm still getting a little bit of lag in places, but it seems to have gotten a little bit better. I'm going to go up here to this tree. We'll start working along here, because I already started there with that one. So we'll start taking a few more of these out, just along this hill. And then we should be able to get more loads. And again, I forgot. And I was supposed to do the rest of that load at 60 times speed as well. So I will do the entire next load at 60 times speed. And I think that should make up for my lapse in setting the correct time. Always forget. Always forget. Well, I say always. Most of the time I forget. I do remember at some points, but I still, very often, I forget all about having to do the whole timescale thing. And, yeah, see, I'm able to cut these down fairly quickly. But honestly, I think it would be a lot faster if we were able to use a Scorpion. We would have the exact 8-meter lengths as well. It would work a lot better if we could do it like that. Let's chop you down. There, and then I want to go up to the next one, and we'll skin this one off. Yeah, we just cut 8-meter lengths, and I mean, if there is available a slightly smaller trailer that we could use rather than the big long one, because the big long one, you can't put 2 lots of 8-meter logs onto that trailer. You can do 6-meter logs, and I think you can actually do 6-meter and 7-meter together, something like that. You can't quite... Well, you could put 2 lots of 7-meter logs on there, but it's a little bit tricky getting it exactly right, and very often they do kind of mess each other up. So 7-meter... Getting a trailer load of 7-meter logs, 2 lots of them on that trailer, is very... It is possible, but it's quite tricky to get it exactly right. So I would prefer, actually, just to go with the 8-meter logs. And for that, I think it would be better if we could have a shorter trailer. If we've got a slightly shorter trailer that's still got the autoload on it, that, I think, would be a lot better. But I don't think I've got one available. There are some autoload trailers, but it's not the logging ones. So we'll stick with the logging one that we've got. And I'm extremely grateful that we've got a logging autoload trailer, because, quite frankly, the logging autoload is one of the best things. Bales and logs together, absolutely wonderful, and I would genuinely struggle with a lot of things if I didn't have it. I mean, I'd still be able to do it. We'd still be able to do this series if we had to manually load everything. But let's be honest, it would be an altogether much more tedious experience having to manually load every single log that we cut. If I was having to do it that way, we wouldn't have even progressed half as far as we have right now, and it would be very dull to watch. I can't imagine that people would want to sit and watch that. It's bad enough. I know it's not the most exciting watching me do this, and we haven't got a lot of variation in our gameplay yet. So it's not the most exciting of things that happens. And, I mean, I do this series in part because this is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. So I create an entire farm from a forested map. And I've never actually gotten around to doing it. It's something that I like the challenge of it. And I do really enjoy this challenge of it. And it does add to my experience here doing this, because because I'm enjoying it so much, and I'm getting to do something that I've wanted to do for a long time and I haven't yet previously been able to. It's kind of like, for me, it's a unique sort of thing, because I'm now able to make videos of something that I've wanted to make for a while. Well, I talked about all of this when I first started doing a hardcore series in FS19. It's sort of a thing. Well, we kind of experimented with it a little bit in FS17, but this one here, this is the real one. So I want a full working farm. And the way that the game works now, that we can go and place down animal pens and stuff like that all the way through, plus we've got our universal selling point. The way that that all works is absolutely fantastic. It really helps us to sort of live the dream. That's what we're doing right now. We are living the dream. Now, in order to finish living this dream, I think I'm going to take down this little group of trees right here, and then we'll start picking a few of them up. So I just chop down these few. There, it won't take very long to take these out. Pick that one there, and I'll go for that one over there as well. Like that. And then, once those are down, I'll start trimming them off. And then I think there's 2 more there that I need to do. And then we can go and get our tractor. And I will remember to switch it to the 60 times speed. So, just for loading. so that I can make up for... Because I am supposed to have it on 30 times speed. For those of you who are new to the series, yes, I use auto-load trailers because otherwise it gets very, very boring. But in order to make up for the fact that I'm using auto-load trailers, we normally have the timescale on 5 times speed, right? We just leave it on 5 times speed except for night. You know, we skip the night. I'm allowed to speed time up anytime I choose to when I'm in between jobs, because you don't just want to have me sat doing this, right? This, quite frankly, would get a little bit dull. So in order to facilitate the removal of these scenes, we speed time up. But then I've also got autoload. That's not very realistic. I'm doing a super hardcore series and I'm using autoload. So to compensate for that, I increase the speed of time to 30 times, because that would sort of, by the time I've gone around and auto-loaded the logs, that would be roughly the amount of time that it would take to manually load them. At least it's a rough guess. It's a very rough guess. So that's why I've got auto-load in the series. Now, I actually changed that over. I changed the side for loading, didn't I? Yes, I did. Right, so stop and change it back over, and there we go. Right. But because I forgot to do it loading up the first load of the episode, I'm going to change this up to 60 times speed, and I'm going to keep that for the rest of this load. So we will go through, we'll load up all of this timber, and you've got to move slowly with this one. You do have to go fairly slowly. I know a lot of you are now familiar with this, but there are some new people that turn up from time to time, so I will also talk for them as well. So we've got to move reasonably slowly, because otherwise the logs, because they materialize in the middle of the air, and then if you don't slow down a little bit, or, you know, they tend to drift towards the back of the trailer and then they fall off. We really don't want that to happen. We want the logs to stay on the trailer, right where they are, and we want them to load properly. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go up beside these ones, right here. There's quite a big one there. See, this is very difficult to actually guess the length of the logs when you're cutting them up with the chainsaw. And you invariably end up either much too long or much too short. It's very, very difficult to get them exact. So it takes a long time to start getting the logs exact, and then once you finally do, once you finally have gotten them the exact right length that they should be, you've kind of moved on a bit, and you've forgotten all about it. And so then when you go back to doing it again, you've forgotten all over again exactly how long they should be. Now, there was measuring tools that you could use in FS19, and quite frankly, I found them to be very tedious and time-consuming to try to use them. So I didn't really bother with them. I thought that it just took too long to try to mess around with them. So in the end, I decided against using those. Alright, there we go. We start pinning some more of these on. And I got one log stuck out the side. I hope that one doesn't become a problem for us later on. It might. You've also got to remember that the logs don't always fall how you'd like them to when you're loading your trailer. See, I'd like them to be filling up the big gap that we've got on the side of our trailer here, but they're not. Well, actually, they'll start doing it now once we move up to this bit. They should, because I'm starting to pull around the right way. Oh, right up onto... Ah, there we go. There we go. Shake them down a little bit. I'm going to stop there, I think. We'll go with that load right there. Actually, no. Can we fit more on? Let's see if we can get a little bit more on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It would be nice if I could just get the last couple of logs over there, maybe. Or just a few of them. Except all I think I'm going to do is I'm going to end up having this lot fall on the floor. That's what's going to happen. Bring you down this way. And yeah, see? Right there. They're just falling down on the floor. Right, that's not going to go anywhere, so I'm going to... I think I've stopped loading. So I put that one on there. Oh, no, I hadn't stopped loading. I have now. There, right. I have now stopped loading, so we will take this lot up to the mill. I can now return us to 5 times speed. So you can see, it's 12:30 now. That took us 2 hours to load that load. And I don't think it would have taken quite that long. But, yeah, I think it's alright. I mean, yeah, I was compensating for the last load as well. So, if we said like an hour for each load with the 30 times speed, that seems to be about right. Maybe slightly longer than that. I don't know if it's 2. It might have been 2.5 hours, something like that. But that does seem to be about the right amount of time that has passed. So I'm quite pleased with that. Bring this on in round here. And it does save us a bit. You know, having to go and pick all of those logs up one by one with the tractor is rather difficult. Especially considering that this tractor doesn't actually work for that. Because this mod seems to be broken. And if I try to open and close anything on the grab, it just opens and closes the roof on the tractor, which I'm still very, very disappointed with. I'm still extremely disappointed with that. So if we did have to do it manually, I'd have to go and get a different tractor in order to actually make it work. Are we going to get up here? We did last time. We may have more timber on here now. It's when it gets near the top there and the back wheels are lifting off the ground. I think that's the bit that makes it struggle more than any other bit. And also, for those of you who are new to the series, the reason I pull up right here is because, unfortunately, on this map, the actual selling square is from about there over to the other side of the trailer. It's not exactly where the lines are marked on the ground. It's actually offset from that one. But there's nothing that we can do about it. We got 19,900, so another 20,000 right there. We are 110,000 away from our target of $450,000. We need 450 because the Ponzi Scorpion is 440,000, and we also want the tracks. Well, I want the tracks. I think it's worth getting the tracks. So I need just that little bit extra. Coming down here, it always lifts the back tires of the tractor off the ground. Why you've got to be steady going through there. You've seen that last time when I came out. How are we doing at the moment? Right, so we're going to go back over and we're going to cut down more trees. And that's the only thing that we're going to do now is just chop down a load of trees. And then in our next episode, the final episode of this week, we will go and pick more of them up. But today, we will just finish up with chopping more trees down. And I think next week, we will actually be back to doing some more mowing. Because by the time I pick up a couple loads, we're going to be pushing towards the end of the day. Which means, yeah, see, it's over here. There's a lot of lag over this side. I suspect there's some dodgy trees in that side, as well as this side. There do seem to be areas on the map where, even though there's trees all over the map, some areas seem to have more issues with lag than others, and I suspect it's because the trees aren't quite right. But yeah, it's not dropping below 30 frames a second, which I think is good. But it's the reason it becomes laggy is not because it's running at 30 frames a second. It's because it's constantly jumping. Where I get to a bit where I've sort of got some issues, it's because it's constantly jumping between exactly 30 frames a second and exactly 60 frames a second. And I don't really know why it's doing that. I don't know why it's sort of going for those two. I think it's something to do with whatever's causing the lag, because it used to do the same in certain places in Felsbrunn. Depending on where I was facing. Usually if I was facing towards the water. If I was facing towards the water and there were ships sort of sailing along the bay, that could also do it. And then it would jump to 30 frames a second. But it's going between the two sort of seems to produce these little odd bits of lag, which are very weird. I don't quite know why it does it. But it does, so we'll kind of have to learn to live with it. $338,000. Run up through this tree. Right, this. If in the morning, so I could probably do 2 more loads today. So that's another roughly 40,000, so we're pushing up to 380,000. If in the morning I was able to sell some wool, we could be looking at another $30,000 of wool. So there's 410,000, and then we'd want 2 more loads of timber. Either that, or we want to do another lot of mowing. But actually what I'm... Ooh. Now, those two are so close together that they could actually be causing some of the lag. If you get trees that are clipping into each other, they can cause you some serious lag issues in the game. That's just kind of a thing that happens. The way that the game works is they can cause you they can cause you some serious lag issues if you've got trees that clipped in together. And I've been told that it does sometimes happen because you know, you're placing down thousands of trees on a map. When you're placing them down, it is possible to, quite by accident, put two trees down, one on top of the other. So you have basically what it amounts to a double tree, and it's quite easy to actually do. It's not very convenient, admittedly, for either the modder or for the person playing the map. And you end up, you go and cut the tree down, and there's a tree falls down, and you've got another one still stood, and it does actually cause you some issues. And we've got something going on there. I'll go up and grab that one there, which I can hopefully use to push that tree over. Go on, over you go. There we go. Right. That one's down. See, we've got these two right side by side. The stumps, I'm hoping, will be alright, but with these two trees right next to each other, there could have been an issue with that. Great demand at the sawmill. I've no idea if great demands actually affect the timber prices. I don't think they do. I think timber prices are set in stone. I don't think there is any I don't think there is any change for timber prices themselves. So I suspect that if we got a great demand, yeah, it's on wood chips. So we could sell wood chips universal selling, although we've said that we won't be selling wood chips there. Wood chips can only be sold at the sawmill. I am wondering if it is worth our effort to go and get a tractor, not another tractor, a bigger trailer and something to chop up the trees. Although, I seem to remember I said somewhere back near the beginning of this series that one thing I wouldn't do is use the Brux chipper to go and chip whole trees instantly into trailers. So this kind of shot that one in the foot already. I'm not allowed to do it, even though I think it would be great just to go and convert some wood chips just for a little while. I'm not allowed to do it the way that I'd like to. We have to cut the trees down and we'd have to pick them up carefully one at a time. Oh, that is... Yes! There's the lag. That's what's causing our lag issues, is this one. This naughty boy right here. Right, we chop you off there. Like that. And this log here might be a little bit too small to pick up. That one, however, is not. And I can pick up the whole tree. And this is what causes lag. That right there is what causes lag. These trees that are done like this. And I'm looking around. I am still getting bits of it. But it's already sort of settled down a little bit. So I'm going to bring that one down here. I'm just going to drop it there for a minute. Put it onto the... We'll put it onto the road, so hopefully we can see it. And we'll leave it there so that we remember to pick that one up when we come back through with our tractor and trailer right there. It's quite important that we do come and get those. Those are going to... It's those types of trees that do cause us issues. Right. And I don't know why... I cannot understand how trees can be made that have only got like half of the collision on them. It's like the visual for the tree is there, but the actual tree inside the game is not. And I do not understand how that has worked. I don't get how it's done that. And whether there was like... Because I'm pretty sure that this map originally had all pine trees like that, and not the new type of pine tree, not these new types here, so the fir tree rather than pine tree. And I think that the map creator went through and converted a whole load of them. So I don't know if he deleted a whole load of the trees to convert them, because it's only these pine tree types. It's not the... It's only like these mountain pine. I think mountain pine, something like that. It's not the sort of standard Christmas tree, fir tree types. Those I've never had that issue with. It's only those, and it's only the very biggest ones. And I wonder if he went through with a program that converted one type of tree into the other, rather than deleting and changing them over. I'm wondering if maybe there was a script or a program in the editor that he was able to use to go through and change them over, and it didn't quite work correctly. Maybe there was a slight bug with some of the converting process. Maybe converting a small tree into a big towering tree like that caused some kind of compatibility issue. I have no idea. I'm just randomly guessing at the moment. So I've got no clue whatsoever as to what might cause that. See, that one there, that one's fine. You can see the way that it sort of rocks up and down like that. We've definitely got the whole thing right here. And we can ride it as well. Go along. It's just duck down like that so that I can go along and do this properly. So we'll go all the way up through here. See, this one is absolutely fine. There's no issues with this one at all. It's just there is the occasional one that, and this is something else that I quite like, is when you debranch it, the branches that were underneath, they are physically holding it up off the ground. And also it's balanced as well. It's another cool thing about it. One more little bit right there, I'd say. Well, I have run out of time today, I believe. We'll leave those there. We'll start with these. We're just going to work our way and do this little group over here and head towards that side. We've run out of time, though, so if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.